Hello, everybody, and welcome here to the virtual Phoenix Raceway here for week 8 of the iSNF Cup Series here once again from Phoenix Raceway. Hello, my name is Christian Delgado, your lead producer and commentator tonight. I have a boss lady up here in the booth, Rhea Ferris. Gonna help me with pre-race for tonight's race, but yeah, Phoenix obviously race number 8, and it's a little interesting to talk about because obviously no, we've had this kind of controversy, I guess if you want to talk about it, when it comes to did we take the dog leg, did we not take the dog leg, and it looks like to this week, at least for this season, this race, it looks like the dog leg will be in play.
Yes. So yeah, there was a poll up on whether or not to take the dog leg away or leave it out for this week, and yeah, everyone voted, and it was pretty close on the poll as far as yay or nay on that. But we went ahead and put it up. We have auto cautions on tonight, but to keep you folks at home from going stir crazy and watching a lot of iPacing, we have a 17x maximum INC limit tonight and 0 fast repair. So that will clean up the race. It might be a little bit caution heavy on the front side of this broadcast, but I will tell you by mid-race it's going to be clean and green to the finish, and that's what we need. And it's unfortunate, that we have to bring that back to the league, but we're just having too many cautions, guys, and we're just having, we want the broadcast to look good. We want the league to look good. We want this to be our premier tier series and present it in a positive manner. So we have to do something. And the admins just can't be everywhere at the same time. We're also trying to do a race. So it's just very difficult position for the admins to be in. So that's what we decided on. If we get an all clean race with 0 accident cautions and only stage breaks, maybe I'll reward them with, turning off the max INC limit if we can get this turned for the better direction as far as cautions go. But look for 200 laps and 200 miles here in the desert at Phoenix Raceway. I've been to this track personally many times, Christian. It's a fun track to be at. Free parking. I always got the really cheap tickets up on that. They call it Rattlesnake Hill. They're off of what is now turns 2 and 3, I think. Up there on the hill, and yeah, I would just bring a folding chair and a canopy and cooler and set up there and bring some friends, and I had a ball. I lived out there for 15 years. I owned a house out there, and this was my home track here for the longest time. And yeah, it's a good venue and highly recommended for anybody who hasn't been there yet to give it a shot. But meanwhile, here in iSNF, Christian, I mean, so we've take a look at our point standings here, and we had some shuffling around quite a bit with this new point system, as far as more points go to the winner. Stage breaks and points still matter, but the winning you're in is gone. So just like real life NASCAR, there's been quite a bit of shuffling going on here. Cody Meadows is definitely the biggest note to bring up for discussion. He's up 14 spots to P10 now in the standings from where he was this time last week. So huge performance by him last week. Where were we last week? Remind me, was it Atlanta? No, it wasn't Atlanta. I forget where we were.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
Indianapolis, the Brickyard 400. Yeah. So he had a really good solid week there. He's up 14 spots. Couple of drivers though that lost a lot were Martin Roberg and the 43 machine. He did not, I believe he did not race, and he's out of provisionals. He dropped 10 spots down the P20, and Emily Urias is in the same boat. And if she doesn't make the race again today, she might be on the verge of losing her ride. So that's something to look out for if you miss too many races here. beyond your provisionals. It's in the rule book now where you could lose your ride. So hopefully that doesn't happen to her. But meanwhile, Thomas Flynn is just holding up the fort, and he has been the last couple weeks, Christian.
I mean, it's funny. Thomas last season, obviously, I was racing with Thomas and stuff, and he was a lot more flashy. He was really up front a lot more. Today, this season, he's been a lot more under the radar, and then he just shows up when he needs to at the end, and gets himself to the front. And we talked to Thomas these last couple of weeks. He's put himself into opponent's spot. Hasn't gotten a lot of stage points, but when it matters the most, those last 15, 20 laps, he's up there at the front and competing for at least a podium at the very least.
For sure, for sure. So he's definitely one to keep an eye on, especially late in this race. How about Craig Lautenslager? He's P18 in the points. He gained 8 spots last week at Indy. And he's a driver that had multiple wins last season who's yet to see victory lane this season. I look for Craig Lautenslager to at least make some noise tonight here in the desert. So keep an eye on that 77 car. I also am liking Justin L. Johnson in that 22 car. He's got so many podium finishes and no dubs yet. So I look for him to see victory lane very, very soon as well. So keep an eye on those two guys. I think they are going to make some noise here before it's all through. As far as some of the race settings go, those watching, again, it's 200 laps, 200 miles. Stage breaks are going to be 60 and 120 tonight. We have 60% fuel. As I mentioned, is 17x max incident limit. 0 fast repairs, 4 extra sets of Goodyears. And we're running the Phoenix iRacing default setup fixed. It's sunny and warm here, clear skies, upper 70s. It's bringing an 89-degree track temperature for us out there. We do have track lights here, so if it does get darkish, they may kick on. Probably not, though, because we are running West Coast time zone here, Mountain time zone realistic. Let's see here. Our defending winner is Craig Lautenslager in that 77 machine. And our 2 hometown heroes are Bob Wyckoff and Gavin Austin. Gavin is actually at the racetrack right now, as well as Mike Iskandar. Mike Iskandar is actually at the racetrack live in person, too. Hopefully they are both having a lot of fun. Let's see here. Notable subs. We've got Terrence Preston in for Mike Iskandar tonight, driving that Kubota machine. John Hopley's in for Kyle J. Williams. Rodney Roberts is in for Zach Phillips Sr. in that 7 machine. Brian Treadwell's in for Phil Manzo, who's still recovering from health issues. We got Larry Fairman in for Eugene Thorne for the last week. Eugene, I guess, flies in tonight or tomorrow back from Spain. Chris Walker in for Alyssa Sharp, and Fabricio Lamana covering for Trackhouse in the 88. So good luck in the booth. I know qualifying will be starting here momentarily, and I look forward to rewatching this on the replay, and hopefully it ends up being a little bit cleaner of a show for you. And hopefully it's good competitive racing there toward the end.
And we can only hope, and we wish you good luck in qualifying here as you ready to put that 21 back on track.
Appreciate it, man. We'll see you here pretty soon.
Yep, appreciate it.
All right. Yeah.
We do appreciate Rhea for coming in and helping us with pre-race. Rhea really puts her heart and soul into this league, and I'm not going to say I haven't seen a league owner that's more dedicated to their league, but she definitely puts a lot of heart and soul into it. And I can only hope that all these drivers can see how much time and energy she's putting into all this. But go ahead and get into qualifying for tonight's race. Looks like Cody Meadows, one of your first drivers on track. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. The 12 of Meadows got his first top 5 of the season last week at Indy in the Brickyard 400. 2 of our second of 3 crown jewel events, and definitely a long day up here in the HPTV booth. Went and did the Brickyard 400 and came back, really back to back, and did the UIS Cup Series Championship, 267 laps from Homestead Miami Speedway. But now here for week 8 here in the iSNF Cup Series, Cody Meadows comes around to complete his first lap. Cody Meadows right now, top of the boards. First driver to complete a lap is that 212 of Motos. Tom Blazier now in P3. Now Cody will drop down to P2. Martin Roberg. Now Will Austin up to the pole spot. Go ahead and take this one off. We'll go ahead and pull up your tower up here on the left side. SK likes to do this a lot. So Cody Meadows, Gabe Ledger, that second and third. And we see some jumbling up here. You'll see that park that thing once again. We'll continue to look at some drivers out on track. Last week's winner, Chris Otto, out on track. Otto winning Crown Jewel event from Indianapolis. Something we do that's cool here on the channel is, whoever wins the race this last week gets to be the thumbnail for this week. So really cool to see Chris in this car, being the thumbnail machine. So we'll see Otto 3 and 4 complete his first lap. Otto will go P number 8, 26.3. Now doing a little bit more of an unconventional line there, actually getting down there underneath the yellow here. He's a little off though. Not going to improve that time. He actually drops down to P number 9 in qualifying. Frank DeAngelis out on track in this 47 machine. Frank coming down the backstretch. He gets an outside wall. Gonna have to try again here on the second lap. Remember these something we haven't really talked about this race. Really this pre-race. These next gen machines, remember, got the updated horsepower and a little bit of an updated aero package. I've talked to some drivers, who are very talented in the sim, and they said there's not a whole lot that's different, right? Obviously, you can feel the power difference, but I've talked to some other drivers, and it really hasn't changed a lot. Frank goes up to P12, decent lap for the 47. Parker Strainer out on track right now. He goes to P21. Just like that. I don't really see anybody out on track. 17 seconds left on practice and qualifying anyway is not going to matter. So Will Austin, Justin Johnson, Cody Meadows, you top 3. You see Craig Largenslaughter in the 77 P4, and rounding out the top 5 in qualifying will be Gabe Ledger in that 8 machine. So get ready to go green here. 200 laps from Phoenix Raceway. Apologize for that. Just trying to reset our graphics package here up in the HVTV booth, making sure everything looks good for you fans at home. Before we get ready to go green here from Phoenix. So wait a few seconds to let these drivers get into their virtual machines and ready to go here. 200 laps here from Phoenix. And remember, there's a lot that these drivers can do in the car to set up this race pace car, whatever for the race pace. And just the MCs, rack and pinion steering you can change. You can change the brake bias, and there's a lot you can do with this next gen compared to something like the truck or the O'Reilly machine where it's just really brake bias. That's it. I mean, I know if you're at a higher level, I know steering range and stuff mean a whole lot, but there's a wide range of skill gaps here in the iSNF Cup Series, and that's not out of any disrespect to anybody in the field, but when we've had Coke drivers racing here, right? We've had the likes of like Dylan Basin and Talon Smith, and all the way down to like seasoned veterans who've been here for a long time, like Steven Sear, Bob Wyckoff, Brian Treadwell. It's a full range of drivers here. Obviously, you have your kind of guys who come in and out of the series from time to time. It's always cool to see that. We'll go ahead and go out down trackside and look at your starting lineup for tonight's race here from Phoenix International Raceway for the 8th race of the season. Let's go ahead and take a look down here at your starting lineup here tonight for Phoenix. Will Austin, Justin L. Johnson going to be that row one alongside his teammate Cody Meadows, and Craig Launchslader in that 77 going to be running out that fast forward. Gabe Bledger in the 8 alongside James Bowles in the 35 going to round out that row 3. Mark Roberg, P7. Charles Herbertson, P8, running out the top 10. Mark Gonzalez in that Penske number 2 alongside Chris Otto, last week's winner from Indianapolis. Rodney Roberts back there in 11th in that 7 machine, and Frank DeAngelis will qualify back there in P12. P13 goes to Don Blazier alongside Blake Coolett in the 45. Jeff Farmer in the 60 machine alongside Chris Bishop in that 71 Spire Motorsports machine. Thomas Flynn, P17 alongside that Hendrick Motorsports teammate is Steven Sear. He'll start at P18. Fabricio Lamana filling in for that 88 machine for Trackhouse Racing alongside Joey Maines in that Hendrick Motorsports machine. Parker Stranger in the 42 going to be P21 alongside Jason Steptoe, P22. Rhea Ferris P23 alongside Larry Fairman rounding out that top 24. See the rest of the field here. John Hopley P25. Nicholas Johnson P26 and the rest of the field here decided not to set a lap. Joey Berkey in the 6. Terrence Preston in the 1. Chris Van Maastricht back there in the 38 going to be P29. Brian Treadwell filling in for the 10 car for Collard Racing. David Anderson in the 97 and Bob Wyckoff will start tail end of the longest line here in P32. Taking a look at your race weather for tonight's race. We're kind of counted off a little bit. 76 degree air temp, 83 degree track temp. You see clear skies out. 19-mile-an-hour wind. So a great night for racing here. See the pace car takes the hard left turn down Pit Road, but a little bit different about Phoenix because remember Phoenix Pit Road starts way earlier than even until we get into the restart zone. But we'll get ready to go green here as we will see the 3, the 22, a Chevy forward front row. You'll see once again Will Austin, Justin Johnson, Cody Meadows, Craig Launchslader bring us to green here. And the flagman. I'm going to hand the race over to Barney. The flagman is going to wave the green flag as we're green. 200 laps here for Phoenix. Starting turns 1 and 2 for the first time. We'll see Will Austin. Lead us there. Wrecking in the back. Caution will wave. On lap number 2. Once again, we're having some blinking issues again here. And then we only have an issue here with the iSNF Cup Series. I don't know what it is here, but I don't know, maybe it's a different overlay package, a different graphics package, but it's definitely frustrating up here in the booth to see that happen because we want to put on the best show for you guys at home. So caution here on lap 1. Really, it was within the first lap or two. Looks like Rodney Roberts, James Bowles, Joey Maines, Terrence Preston, Joey Berge, David Anderson involved in that crash, and probably several others. I thought I saw the 20 of Robertson. That might have been the 20 actually. Turn around there, so fortunate for those drivers. Go ahead and pull up your thumbnail real quick to see if we can diagnose some of these issues here on the sim to see if we can maybe help with the frame rate a little bit, to help with that blinking. Putting down as much as we can here. Hopefully the blinking stops. The only thing that we'd have to restart the sim is for some reason iRacing has like the clouds in the sky very high texturally, so if we want to change that, we'll have to back out. And if the blinking continues, then obviously we won't be left with a choice here, but obviously we'd like to keep the racing on track here. The blinking continues, we'll probably try to step away, back out of the sim here on lap 60 at the end of stage 1 while we go commercial break and try to step away to see if we can figure that out. But right now we'll try to get reset once again. Now it's gonna be the 12 of Cody Meadows gonna be up front. Not sure what happened to Justin L. Johnson, but he was up here towards the front. Now it's going to be the other Penske Ford up here on this front row as we'll get ready to go back into the O'Reilly Auto Parts restart zone. Will Austin leads us back to green. Caution will wave once again. I'm really just trying to find any way we can to just blinking under control everybody, so I do apologize. Once again, we'll try what we did last time, and we will leave the Discord. See if that helps with the blinking at all. It seems like the only time we're having blinking issues is when we're having mistakes here with the wrecking and everything else. And yeah, you know, she talked about, you know, in the pre-race that they turned on the incident limit to hopefully negate the wrecking, but unfortunately, a lot of drivers still getting caught up in messes here at the start. Justin L. Johnson coming down pit road, and something I want to talk about here, and I'm not sure if I'm correct or not, but I did get in the car and loaded in the Phoenix set here as a spectator. And I saw we could only go 52 laps on fuel, so I am not surprised to see a lot of these drivers come down if that is the correct number to come down and take some, you know, top off on some Sunoco race fuel to make it to the end. Is the 38 is gonna get hooked under caution. What happened back here? Just I'm not sure what happened to it. Looks like he was, I don't know, maybe Chris was the lucky dog and was trying to get around some of these guys. That was the two of Mark Gonzalez. He turns and then just right in front of Charles Roberson. Roberson, take a look and see it. Does he have any damage? Yeah, he's got a little bit of right front damage from that. Very interesting. I'm unsure what happened there between the 38 and the 11 there, but regardless, Will Austin, Cody Meadows back inside the restart zone. The 3 picks the top. The 12 will get the bottom. No, the 12 picks the bottom as he gets the restart. Cody Meadows with a good jump, and we talked about him last week at Indy, how much that, you know, podium spot meant to him, and when it came to just getting this momentum back up, getting back in the mojo that this 12 car is used to being in, right? This 12 car for the last couple seasons has been a contender. He's been, you know, inside the top 8 in points consistently all year around, and what it meant for him to get a good finish finally here in season. This season in the iSNF Cup Series, he's got a, you know, a mirror full of the A. Gabe Ledger trying to make the time up here as those two RCR cars, in second and third, trying to run down this Penske Ford. I know Cody's been doing some practice here tonight for you know, this evening's race. For everybody who isn't, you know, familiar within our Night in America on the IDK Player YouTube channel, he does some like hosted community races here, and last night it was Phoenix here in the next gen. Obviously it was under the lights, but I saw Cody running in there. He was running inside the top 5, I believe, at the end, keeping that nose clean in this, you know, Penske machine, this 12 car that he's kind of, you know, identified himself as, and a lot of these, you know, community events, I guess, if you want to call it. And that practice, you can see, is starting to pay off a little bit here. Trying to hold off these drivers behind, trying to be hungry to get to the front. Charles Roberson making a move underneath the 77 of Craig. Even with that nose damage, caution will wave. James Bull's back here, like he's involved in something. I think we'll finally. Oh, he gets into the back. I think that's the 17. Don Blazier, it looks like the 24. Thomas Flynn involved, the 34. Oh, Justin Johnson gets around that barely, I think. That's the 88. I think back there stopped it. That is Fabricio. Stopped right there. Oh, the 38. Good on the brakes there. He's gonna keep it going there. So now the question is, obviously we saw some of those guys come down Perry Road on lap 9. Obviously, if my feelings were right, you can't make it to stage 2 unless we get a lot more cautions. Do these drivers decide to come down Perry Road anytime soon? We've ran, I would say, I mean, 17 laps isn't a whole lot, especially when we've had already 3. This is our 3rd caution, and we had 2 cautions in the first 9 laps, right? So do you see some of these drivers maybe take the hard left turn down Perry Road and give up the track position? Do they hope for some more cautions to wave and to allow them to save some more fuel? Only people down Perry Road are those guys caught up in the wreck. Nobody really going out of their way to top off on race fuel who weren't in the wreck. The 38, it looks like, will. The Van Mastrick will give up, you know, some of the spots he was in. But remember, a lot of these guys back here either got caught up in the wrecks or were already kind of towards the back. So I don't really blame these guys for coming down, fixing a little bit of damage maybe, and then on top of that, making it being good to go in stage 1. You already see lights off on the pace car. They'll take the hard left turn down Perry Road. We'll have to go down the back stretch before we get back to go green. Once again, it's going to be Cody Meadows, but this time, not Will Austin, his teammate Gabe Ledger on that front row. We'll have the 3 behind that 12 machine, then the 77 of Craig Slaughter back there in P7, P4. Charles Roberson, and then the other Penske teammate. Mark Gonzalez going to be back there in P6. And ready to go back green here. Hand it back over to Cody Meadows. Nobody trying to find some track position here on the start of these races. See the 2 teammates side by side. Will Austin, Gabe Ledger. Looks like the 3 will clear the 8. I don't see them fighting it out right now. Now Charles Roberson trying to make the move once again on the 77 of Craig. See them side by side now. Side by side with the 2. Here comes Mark Gonzalez trying to make a move on the top side. Go side by side with that 11 machine. Gonna see the eye of the hurricane right now with this 2 machines. You see all kinds of cars in front of them, and then you see right behind all those cars trying to get around him, trying to make his way up to the field. He finally gets around this 11 machine. We'll see a little bit of right front damage to that 11 from contact from him and Chris Van Mastrick. Under caution. The Team Penske looking pretty strong tonight. Obviously, we saw 22 qualifier up front. Lose all that track position, but I think it was just due to him coming down, trying to make it on fuel. Now Cody Meadows leading the field here, and you see the number 2 up inside the top 4 now. He's going to try to get around the 8 on that top side. Mark's really liking his top side, but you have to think, what's it doing to these tires, right? Mark continuing to drive through the field. Now I'm going to get on the outside of the 3 of Will Austin. It's funny because we saw this out of Team Penske in real life back in what? I'll say 2021. I would say really since the next gen, or that 2022 to 2024, Team Penske was so strong. We saw them win 3 in a row there in the next gen era. So obviously in 2025, Larson took it away, took that streak away from Team Penske, and now you see, the 12 and the 2 up here towards the front. Obviously, the 2 in real life hasn't had the success. Those other 2 teammates, at least when it comes to racing for a championship, but it seems some, success out of this 2 car at these short tracks, right? Not only in real life with Austin, Austin winning at New Hampshire, I believe. No, that was Gateway. Granted, that was from the 12 running on the field, but also in the iSNF Cup Series, we've seen this 2 have some success at the short tracks. Mark Gonzalez won at Richmond, right? Frank DeAngelis back here in P10 having a quiet night, up 2 spots from where he started, but cracked his way inside the top 10. But currently, your biggest mover is the 20, Nicholas Johnson. Remember, this driver did not set a lap in qualifying, so he's had to do it the hard way, driving himself up through the field. Now up inside the top 10 in that 9th place spot and trying to run down that 42 right in front of him. Parker's done a good job getting himself up to the front too. Up, what is it now? 13 spots from where he started. So back here in P8 and P9 are kind of the first guys who've kind of driven their way up inside a good, spot. With everybody else who's kind of stayed kind of plainer. Mark Gonzalez up 7 spots. As he's actually going to try to look for the race lead here. I'm not going to see him race his teammate very hard. Racing with the Penske guys for so long, that's one of the kind of things is don't put either of you guys in a bad spot, right? And Mark thinks he's fast. He's going to ask, hey, can I get around you? And for the most part, it's like, yeah, okay, let's do it, right? Right now, it looks like Mark very content, trying to hold on to this P2 spot, trying to keep that 3 in his rearview mirror. Remember, this is the kind of the bad thing about teammate racing, right? If Cody's holding up this 2, he's probably holding up this 3 and that 11 and that 77, right? And now the 2 kind of has to play defense for both cars, not only for himself but for his teammate here, who he's trying to keep the lead. Remember, Mark coming in, has won a race and he's kind of somewhat decent in the points. And even Cody, I would say, he's up inside the top 10 in points now, but he's to have a couple of good runs to, solidify himself as a championship favorite. But it's hard, racing your teammates, especially here in iSNF where, I feel like, in a lot of other leagues where you're just teammates, right? There's not that connection, right? You're just racing on a virtual team versus now you're in iSNF, right, where you're racing for Penske and you're racing for these cars and it's all real life, right? And you just seem like to have that chemistry and that connection a lot more than in like just another league, right? And I've always felt like, I wouldn't say Team Penske's the most realistic, but I feel like the Penske guys drive like the Penske guys do in real life. They work with each other, right? All the time. To make sure the team is running where they need to be, right? You don't see, this hostility and this like hard racing like you do with with a lot of other teammates, right? When you look back in the day, you saw Gordon and Johnson, have some feuds because they race each other really hard. When you look back now at Joe Gibbs Racing, right? Where Denny Hamlin, roughed up the 54 because the 54 was, racing him really hard as a non-playoff driver last season. Denny, bumped him, right? Saying like, hey, man, I'm racing for a championship. You're not. You didn't even make it into the playoffs. Yeah, I'll race it for a championship, and got in the back of the 54, sent him around. You don't see that a lot with the Team Penske guys here. But you see now these top three under a blanket, as Meadows, Gonzalez, and Austin, have started to pull away from the rest of the field. For me, the big question I'm still asking is, can these guys make it on fuel? And we did have 3 cautions to kind of help save fuel, but I don't know if that's enough to get you to the end of stage 1 here. We'll have to see. I mean, you think about it. They probably saved about 2 laps per caution, right? We had 3 cautions, which is 6 laps. But my calculations were about 8 to 9 laps short on fuel, so. I'm really trying to focus on this battle for the lead, but we do have some battles further on back in the pack here. I think the Angeles just got around the 42, but he gets up at the outside wall. The 42 will try to retake that P9 position. He will. I think moves back to P10. The 71. That's a lap car. No, that is not a lap car. That's Chris Bishop. Got the bumper put to him by the 22 of Justin Johnson. Justin already using up that chrome horn early this race. Trying to get up back inside the top 10. That is that top 10 spot right there. That's the 42 of DeAngelis. Justin will easily clear the 47. Put himself up inside the top 10. But since he dropped outside after coming down Perry Road. See a lot of these guys running different lines. You see Frank down there on the bottom as well as the 42, but you see Justin up there, up on that high side to get the momentum off the corner, and you see him start to pull away. Go back up here to the battle for the lead, though. Both these 3 cars under a blanket. Cody Miles continues to lead. It seems to me for now, looks like these top 3 are content, kind of riding around where they are. You still see Will Austin try to peek his nose underneath. They're trying to make, something happen. But then kind of steps back, not trying to push the car. I love to see these different lines. Right? You saw Mark go down there and run the bottom. It forced Cody to run the top, but Cody still was able to keep the lead there with the momentum off at turn 1 and 2. Keep the lead. Oh, you see doing the outside wall there, coming in 1, 2. I gotta know if these guys aren't really pushing that hard, because it's actually allowed Craig. He's starting to reel these guys in just a little bit in the 77. Oh, you see the 3 in the outside wall. See how much they're babying this car. Back up here, the race lead. 2 Penske Fords battling it out here. I think Mark thinks he's got a little bit more pace than Cody. Trying to make the spot up, but Cody's fighting him for it. Whatever you guys do, don't slow each other down. race for the lead, or burn up your tires, race for the lead. Allow that 3 to get you both. Someone I'm looking back is that 77 of Craig, right? I mean, he slowly started to reel these guys back in. If these guys continue to battle it out here, he's going to be the one who's going to be at the catbird seat, going to, try to take advantage. Build these two pesky Fords side by side for the race lead as we get to go back in here in the 1 and 2. Once again, Cody Meadows using his top side to get the momentum. He's going to clear the 2 once again. Keep the race lead for now. Mark once again getting on the inside here in the 1 and 2. Gonna force that 12 to run the top again. Unfortunately for this 2, you just cannot make that pass work on the bottom. I mean, Mark got up here towards the front running that higher side, that higher lane. Maybe that's why he's gonna have to try. Get around his teammate if he wants the spot. I think that's what he did there. He ran up a little bit higher. He's going to get a little bit of a better run. Down here in the 3 and 4, he's going to look to the top once again. Can't make anything of it. I mean, it's really good racing out of these 2 teammates, but gotta think, is it burning up their stuff? I mean, they've been able to, keep this 3 behind them, so I guess if they want to race it out here, touche, right? I mean, if they can keep the lead, it doesn't matter. You see Mark, he's going to run this top side. Actually, the 3 Will Loss is going to try to follow him through. Cody Meadows is going to have to now fight for this P2 position. Now P3, you'll see Cody Meadows actually drop back here. He'll give the spot to the 3. Mark Gonzalez will lead his first laps tonight here from Phoenix. We approach, now 9 to go in stage 1. Start to see these leaders start to catch the back end of this lap traffic. You see the 17 of Blazier, the 23 of Steptoe. Now Cody underneath the 3. Actually, Will Austin going to get the run off the corner. Oh, I might apologize. Will Austin going to run the 2 machine. That's what I was talking about. You can't race each other that hard, especially if you're teammates, right? Look, you used your tires up, raced it side by side. And now you let this 3 get around here. Now he's going to probably take the stage. Unless something drastic happens. Greg Lautenschlager puts himself inside the P3 position. 20 miles. Dropping back pretty quickly. I wonder if he's trying to save some fuel. He's saving fuel. And he's losing a lot of time. This is panic fuel saving. Now, I was talking about it. I don't know how these guys are going to be able to make it here if they're not saving fuel. You see him. Look how much time he's losing trying to save fuel here. It looks like the 8 of Ledger looks like it's going to come down pit side. Nick Johnson is going to get around the 12 machine. Look at that. He's lifting halfway down. He's turning off the car halfway down the straightaways, letting it coast. I just don't know if Cody knew he needed to save fuel. And now he's just trying to do the best he can with it. He's losing a lot of time doing it. I think maybe, no, the two. Mark Gonzalez going to come down pit side. Will Austin down pit road as well. Here comes Frank DeAngelis. So is Craig saving fuel? So it doesn't sound like Craig's saving fuel. Maybe he saved earlier, now knows that he can make it to the end here. I mean, there's only 2 laps to go here in stage 1. Reynolds has turned up the heat, though. I think he maybe saved enough to where he felt comfortable to start pushing again. And try to get around the 20. Johnson here. He's going to get around and get that P2 position. Here comes Justin Johnson. He's going to take P3. That should be stage. Going to wait on the top 10. Get across the line, probably. Win on this 43 to get across the line. Caution will wave. I'm glad I was right about the fuel situation. I didn't think without saving that they could make it. Some people are going to get burned by this. Mark Gonzalez, luckily, is going to be the first car 1 lap down. He'll get the lucky dog. We'll go back here. Some of these drivers, no, they're catching up to the pace. They're letting the pace car catch up. I thought for a second that maybe they were out of fuel. You'll see your stage winners come down pit road here. And a long pit lane here at Phoenix, so that's why I was a little concerned for the guys who pit before the caution, before the stage. I was afraid they're going to go maybe 1, maybe even 2 laps down. Looking at the 77, he's the first car that led us to pit road. It looks like the 34 is splash to go. Or the 24 also maybe a splash to go, but 12. The 12 of Cody Meadows, a great pit stop. He's going to win the race off pit road. And that's it. And then we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break, but we'll go side by side here. Brought to you by High Velocity TV. We'll be right back after this quick commercial break.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome you back to Phoenix. We're going back into the restart though. Justin Johnson, Thomas Flynn, back to green here to start stage 2. Cody Meadows. He won the race off pit road. Back here. Wrecking in the back. I think that was the Ford machine. John Hopley turned around. We'll see what happened to the 4. We'll find a good camera. Show you guys. Let's go ahead and look at our chopper cam here. '41. I believe it is that Bob. Yeah, he gets up and gets into the 4 there. After that, John did wrong. He just got dumped by the 41. They just Bob overdrove the corner a little bit. I don't think he did on purpose. Just looked like a simple mistake, but we'll get in the back of the 4 and caution will wave once again. So I'm a little confused with the 12 of Cody Meadows. I'm not talking about him coming down pit road. I was talking about this last pit stop he made. So he came out leading the pits, but fell back like at 15th. But if he got a black flag, he would have started tail into the longest line. I don't know, maybe like the wave arounds might have. I'm not sure how black flags work there in that situation, right? If you get a black flag for speeding with these wave arounds, do you go behind the wave around cars or do you go in front, right? Because he started around the 15th place in front of, technically lead lap cars. So I'm very interested to know what happened there. See it coming on the line here. We should get the lights off on the pace car. Quick caution laps here from Phoenix. And now we've seen, the cycle, right, start. It's going to be Justin Johnson now. This, the last Penske car that hasn't led a lap yet. He's going to come around and lead some laps here. So every Penske car has led a lap thus far, but will be Johnson, Lautenschlager, Flynn, and Stanger at the top 4. These are the guys who decide to stay out here. Back into the O'Reilly Auto Parts restart zone. Justin Johnson's lead us back to green. '24. Gonna put pressure on the 77. Gonna get back in line. That's Thomas Flynn. And Thomas, this new chase format has really played well in the Thomas hand. He's just such a consistent racer. He's always up there, consistent. He's consistent. Unless he's wrecked out, he's not putting himself in the spots to wreck himself. And this is exactly what you want to see. But they're on back. Looks like we got a wrecking in the back. Bob Wyckoff looks to be slow. Will Austin also caught up in this. Take a look and see what happened to the 3 machine. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What's going on here with Bob? Stop it right there. It was like contact between him and the 8. Out of 2. Gets a bump. Oh man. So I thought maybe there was something between him and Charles, but it looks like the 3 lifts the bumper to the back of the 41 and kind of just like walks Bob down the track, and then he's just trying to save it, and then he just has to walk it up the track once again. Gets it to the back of the 3. Unfortunate for Austin here in the 3 machine, but I wouldn't say it's his fault. That just looked like a racing deal, unfortunately. Bob was a little bit slow on the exit of 2. He got in the back of him. Fortunately, it got Bob upset, walked it down the track, made contact with the 11, and he was still trying to save it when we got in the 3 and 4. Fortunately, you know, the way the car reacted, he just kind of walked it up the track, back up into the 3, and turned him around. Flats off in the pace car once again. We'll take the hard left turn down Pit Road. Man, these caution laps are going quick. It'll be Johnson, Lautenschlager, and Joey Maines now up inside the top 4. The 24, Flynn is still up here, sitting in 3rd. So Justin Johnson picks the top. He'll lead us back to grid once again. A good jump by the 22. The teammates, Joey Maines, Thomas Flynn, side by side. Joey Maines gets the spot. And in that top side, Nicholas Johnson now making a move on the 24. And Mark Gonzalez. I think he's the first car of the guys who pitted last. He is. Nick Johnson underneath the 48 of Joey Maines for the P3 spot. Trying to see everybody trying to get single filed out for the most part. Listen, Valen further on back. That's a Roberg underneath the 24. Flynn is falling back quite a bit since the start of this restart, basically. No damage to that 24, but I mean, falling off a cliff. Remember, he was one of those drivers who didn't come down pit road yet, maybe trying to save a little fuel. And honestly, I mean, I'm not gonna, especially if there's guys who can make it. I hate to rely on fuel saving to get you to the stage. And I'm gonna push and hope for a caution if I'm this 24, but got a review mirror of a lot of drivers who are hungry to get around them right now. Just interesting because, you know, if you're trying to save fuel, there's a lot of drivers behind you that are a lot better on you fuel-wise than you are, right? I don't know if a lot of these guys can make it on fuel, but once again, Flynn, outside wall, he's going to fall outside the top 10 shortly if this pace continues. See Chris Otto back there gonna pounce if he sees any weakness out of this 24. The teammate. Back up front though, Justin Johnson, 77, and now here comes Nick Johnson in the 20. They're gonna try to pull a slider on this 22. He's gonna make the pass work. If the 22 has a run, then maybe cross him over. No. What a pass for the lead there. Saw that off the bumper, the 20, and then Nick Johnson. He runs here in P3. He'll get around to 22. Austin's starting to fall off just a little bit. The chalk till he gets sorted out for the most part. You'll see Joey Maines, Mark Gonzalez making his way up through the field. So Joey, I think, got his track position by pit strategy versus the two who's kind of had to drive his way back up towards the front. Came down pit road, topped off on fuel. He up the track position, but now has found his way back up inside the top 5. Then back there in 4th. Now, I still don't think anybody can make it on fuel. But the best guys on fuel pitted about 4 or 5 laps after stage 2 started, right? From my calculations, they're about 7 to 8 laps short. Let me correct myself. I don't think people can make it without saving. Mark's definitely not saving right now, and he's going in the 3rd. Got to help with the rotation. The lower you go, steering wise, the more fuel you're burning. So. You'll see everybody really single file out right now, trying to find where they want to run. And with this new, I would say, package that these drivers have, it's really, it really lends the hand now into the fuel saving, the tire saving, just the car management, right? Let's see if I can get up. I can find someone who's right up on the back end of one of these next gen machines. See if we can go on board with the Roberg if the 8 gets around him here. You're right there. On the back end of these cars. No diffuser on these short tracks. That's, you know, a little bit less downforce, a lot of stuff here. And it's not as big of a difference as like a lot of people would think it would, but it's still these little differences that we're not used to, right? Now people have to learn. More horsepower, no rear diffuser, a little bit of aero changes in the car. All those little things add up, right? A good shot off the back end of the 48 there. Everywhere else will come on the schedule. We'll have that rear diffuser, except for these short tracks. And I believe the road courses. Versado underneath the 11. Just right on the backside of the top 10. Just can't make the pass work. And the Roberson underneath Joey Maines. And Joey started to fall back to the package. He'll be outside the top 10. We saw Joey get that track position back via pit strategy, but unfortunately has not been able to hold on to it. And this season hasn't been kind to Joey. We haven't seen, you know, the race winning pace, you know, the championship 4 that we've seen out of Joey before, right? I don't know, maybe it's this new car, the new update. That's gotten him off his game a little bit, but no, you never know what's going on with someone. It might be life commitments that just don't really allow him to get in the car as much, but outside the top 10, not something we used to seeing out of this 48. See these top 3 under a blanket for the most part. Once again, we saw this last run. Saw these top 3 cars get away. Except the first time it was Cody Meadows, Will Austin, and then it also was the 2 of Mark Gonzalez. They got away here. And unfortunately, now we're coming up where, you know, the fuel strategy is going to start to play out in a little bit. About 20 laps. Mark is obviously by far the best off fuel, but he hasn't been saving. I don't think any of these guys have been saving up here in the top 3. Justin Johnson has fallen out the back of this pack. Interested to hear if he's trying to save fuel at all. At least not at this moment. Cody Meadows up inside the top 5. He's driven his way up through the field once again. Look at that. Team Penske 2, 3, 4. I mean 3, 4, 5. My apologies. That's great. I mean, whatever these Penske Fords unloaded with it, it's working. This is the Penske we've you know been familiar with seeing, right, in the past. These last couple seasons have been kind of rocky for Team Penske. But I think now they're starting to find their footing, right? They're starting to find, where they need to be again, right? The last time we've seen Team Penske like this, it was back probably that season that Russell Barkley won the championship in the 22, right? Nicholas Johnson falls off the back of this front three. I'm just interested to see this whole fuel strategy game that we're playing here. So I would say he might be trying to save a little bit. You can definitely tell he's been a little more cordial with the car. Waiting on the RPMs to go down before he gets down into fourth. He's not using the RPMs to slow the car down like the others are, which will help with fuel mileage. It has allowed these two in front start to get away. Actually, Mark Gonzalez makes the pass back. He'll take the race lead away from the 77. Let's steal the field here. Still your biggest move of the race is that 20 of Johnson. Did not set a qualifying lap. And then obviously, you see right there, he's driven his way up inside the top three. Actually starting to run down the 77 of Craig. Oh, did you see the 20 get an outside wall there? And he's going to have to regroup to get back to the back end of the 77 machine. A little bit of a battle further on back. Chris Otto, Thomas Flynn. Trying to run down this 43 of Roberg. I'm anxious to see what Thomas is going to do here. Because he hasn't really gotten back a lot of this track position he lost on that restart. I don't know, maybe he tried to save fuel, tried to save his equipment. And they're going to drive through maybe in these last 10 laps of stage 2 or what. But you actually see him make the move here underneath his teammate in the 9. Couldn't make the pass work though, but still right on the back bumper of his teammate. And then navigate around maybe these potential slower cars. In that you see the 41 lap car, Bob Wyckoff. Try to get around the driver here of the 41. Bobbing an outside wall, and all three of those guys will get around him pretty easily. Otto looking underneath the 43. Oh. Otto a little upset there. He'll actually lose the spot to the 24. Thomas Flynn will move up to P8. This is what we were talking about with the tire wear and the tire management. Saw the 9 get a little upset there. I don't know, maybe that was just because he burned off the tires a little bit, right? Or maybe he just got in the gas a little bit too soon. With older tires, it got that back end stepping out, and it allowed the 24 to get on his outside and make the pass for the P8 position, and he's still looking to try to get around this 43 Roberg. I was about to say, I thought Justin was catching Nicholas here, but I think it was Cody Miles who was catching his teammate in the 22. Driving with that 22 car, he's probably one of the better teammates you're gonna have here in iSNF, right? If you're faster, he'll say just go. He'll do exactly what he did with Cody there. You're a little bit quicker, I'll let you go, man. And that's something you want in a teammate, right? Obviously, we saw, and I'm not saying that the other two are bad teammates, but you saw, you know, those two battling it out at the start of the race there in stage 1. And it obviously cost them, you know, some stage points. And you know, Mark had the pit. He didn't even get stage points. Obviously, Cody had a decent finish. I think he got P2 in the stage 1, but obviously they could have definitely won the stage, but potentially if they didn't do that. Now you see Cody Meadows starting to drive his way through the field. The back bumper of the 20 machine. Like, not even going to give him a fight there. Going to let him go. I'm really impressed with this whole Penske organization right now. 1, 3, and 6. So, right now for Team Penske. Look here at the manufacturers here. On the left side of your screen, you see only 2 Toyotas here in the top 10. That's Nick Johnson. That's Mark Roberg there in the 43. Everything else is really dominated by Fords and Chevys. And really the only Fords up here are those Team Penske or Dark Horse Mustangs. Everything else is mix of Chevrolets. You see the Spire 77, you know, the RCR 8, the 2, you know, half of the Hendrick cars up here. Then that second RCR entry up here inside the top 10 is Will Austin, after getting caught up in a wreck, trying to drive his way back through the field. Ready to wrap up stage 2. Mark Gonzalez able to save the fuel here in stage 2, unlike he was able to do in stage 1. Across the stripe. Mark Gonzalez will win stage 2. The crowd come across the stripe. Thomas Flynn across the stripe. Chris Otto. Caution should wave here any second. As caution waves. Stage 2 is complete. You'll see your top 10 on the side of your screen there. And you get some stage points here in stage 2. Congratulations to Mark. We're going to take another quick commercial break, but you won't miss a thing as we go NASCAR side by side presented by HVTV. We welcome you back to the virtual Phoenix Raceway. We see some, what was that? Some smoke coming off the track there, but Mark Gonzalez wins stage 1. He'll win the race off pit road. And now they kind of the stage is set for the rest of the race here. We've cleaned up the cautions. Everybody's kind of figured out where they need to do the run cleanly and around each other without, getting caught up in incidents. What's the plan here? Obviously, we're going to be going to green here with what? 76 laps to go, 77 laps to go. Obviously, you can split that in half. Is that going to be the strategy that these drivers use? I'm unsure, but we'll have to find out. But we'll see a Ford Chevy front row. You'll see the 2 Penske machine, the 77 Aspire machine. Another Penske machine back there in P3 alongside another Chevy in that Hendrick camp. We'll see Mark Gonzalez go back into the O'Reilly Auto Parts restart zone. And we'll start off our last stage as we get ready to set sail for stage 3. Chris Otto trying to make a move on the 77. Caution will wave. Jason Steptoe? No? I'm not sure what that caution was for. I don't see anybody on our incident report wrecked or slow or getting a meatball or anything. Nicholas Johnson now on pit side. Does he have any damage? I don't see any. I only see a lot of damage to that number 20 machine. Yeah, very interesting. I don't know what that caution was for. I don't see anything on SDK that tells me that someone wrecked. All it just said is yellow flag. So interesting. Well, I don't really think this changes the strategy at all, though. We got a caution shortly after we went green. This will just kind of delay the inevitable pit stop that we have to do to end this race tonight. So obviously, these guys who stayed out, they'll probably try to stretch it a little bit further on field. But once again, do you want? Honestly, yeah, that's what I would do. Obviously, you're not really using up any tire under caution here. I've been trying to save some fuel, kind of delay that pit stop as long as you can, right? Until you can make it, right? Obviously, if we get a caution, on lap, 150, you're gonna see everybody come down pit side here. But right now I'm gonna try to save some fuel, try to delay that pit stop as much as I can. If it does go green, right, you run as long as you can, come down, take those freshies, those fresh Goodyear tires, right? And you just haul the mail, right? Those last 25 laps. And we'll see now at Penske front row. The 2 Gonzalez, the 12 of Meadows will be that front row, and then you'll see Otto Slaughter. So it's going to be Ford front row and a Chevy lockout for that fast 4. You'll see Toyota Chevy for that row 3. You'll see Steven Sear, Bishop, LaManna, and Strander going to run at that top 10. But you'll see once again, Gonzalez back into the restart zone. We're green once again here from Phoenix. Good jump by Otto. And the 9 machine, he'll actually take the P2 position away from the 12. Cody Meadows will be back to P3. And I'm surprised to see that. Because a lot of the times, especially in that Team Penske camp, if you guys are 1-2, they try to give you a countdown to try to like get a good jump to stay side by side. Obviously, usually when I was racing back in the day, another yellow flag. But we'll go back to, when I was racing at Team Penske, it was kind of like gentleman's code, right? The leader gives the countdown, and if you get a good jump, you let the leader keep the lead, and you'll sit back there in P2, right? And then once everything kind of cycles out, then if you want to try to race for the race lead, then it's fair game. But once again, another caution. I don't see anybody slow. I don't see anybody, stopped on the track. It doesn't show me that anybody wrecked either. So I wish I could go back and look and see what happened. I'm trying to find some movie magic for you guys to see if maybe it'll show you what happened. This looks like it was a while ago. So that's all I need to show you, I guess, there. Because you saw back there in 9, he was back there outside the top 10 in that shot. So Justin Johnson. Okay, well, I didn't mean to do that. Do you see Justin Johnson down pit side? I mean, the 42 looks like it'll be the 41. It looks like the 21 down pit road as well. Maybe the 38 of Van Maastricht as well. Will all come down pit road. Probably top off on some Sunoco race fuel. Yeah, I don't see any damage to this 22. We'll see what he does here. Oh, missed the box, first of all. Yeah, a little splash to go for this 22. I mean, if you're already in the back, I guess might as well, right? You'll see those guys catch back up to the pace car. And you see them double foul, but you still see lights on the pace car. So, I'm lucky enough to be able to go in and look into admin chats, and they made a decision. If there's some cars getting their laps back, or in these certain situations, like an awkward pit road, like at Phoenix, the admins decided to, if they need to, they will delay the caution and make sure they can get the running order set properly before we go green. There was a huge misunderstanding and a huge disagreement that happened at the Brickyard 400 that ended up giving some people, putting some people in bad places because people were supposed to catch up and people were supposed to let people by. They gave people black flags. And unfortunately, some of those black flags were cleared when some people thought they shouldn't have been cleared. So the admin team decided, hey, in those types of situations where we have to continue to let people by, let's delay the caution to get everybody set. Then we'll go green, so we don't have to worry about having to make those controversial calls after the flag. Unfortunately, and it was the 22 of Justin Johnson. He got a penalty for trying to do what he thought was right, and it ended up giving him a black flag. And they cleared it during the race. Unfortunately, the admins thought it wasn't supposed to be cleared, and he actually got a penalty for that. But back green here. Team Penske will get the jump here on that bottom side. It'll be 1-2 once again. Oh, it looks like a car slow up there on that top side. That's Sear? I think that was Sear in the 5. A good run for Steven up here inside the top 10. Looks like a chance to hopefully hold on to this track position, but under fire from the cars behind. He's just kind of top 4, top 5. All single file. Good to see some double file further on back. William Nicholas Johnson trying to make a move on the 8. Ledger. Side by side. You'll see Steven Sears side by side. Now not. The 88 will get clear. That's Fabricio. Fabricio's had a very, very quiet day, but you're in stage 3 up here when it matters here. The Brazil native. Good run for this 88 team. The potential battle ensuing here, the 77 and the 9. Chris Otto, Craig Lautenschlager. Here comes the 42. That's the 43, my apologies, of Roberg. Those legacy cars tend to look the same sometimes, so it's my apologies. See the upsides and the downsides of running these lines here. You saw the 43 went in the bottom, got a good entry. They gave it all up on exit. Look at that. Now look at the 20. Nick Johnson going to take advantage. He's going to be side by side for the P4 position. P5 position, my apologies. We'll see it once again. The 20 with a good entry. 43 will have a good exit. 20 with a better exit, actually. Good line by that 20 of Nick Johnson. Honestly, if anybody's going to drive down and run down those Penske 4s, I think it is this 20. Johnson's looked quick all race long. We saw him really quick at Richmond, right? Which they, had some contact with a couple cars. Really ruined his chance to race for the win, but was really quick at Richmond. Is really found a sweet spot here at these short tracks. Obviously, he won at Atlanta, but obviously, it's a super speedway. Anything can happen, especially with those fresh tires, right? Going up the race leader, Mark Gonzalez leads over Cody Meadows. He's starting to pull away a little bit. And this is where I think Mark shines here. Because Mark doesn't have to worry about fuel mileage. He doesn't have to worry about anything. He's got to worry about his own race. He knows he has to pit one more time at the very least to make it to the rest of the way. So you'll see him smooth in, smooth out, and that's what's going to gain you time. Him getting down in the third gear, having a little bit of trouble in 1 and 2. That's what they use that downshift for. Get the car centered. I was having a lot of trouble when I was doing some practice laps too, and 3 and 4. This new, package with the more horsepower makes it a little bit harder for these cars to stop. A very interesting choice because you actually, when you're downshifting the third here, you have to like upshift while you're trying to like exit the corner, which means you actually have to lift, which I feel like sometimes could burn, could lose your timing, especially here in 1 and 2, right? Like, look when he has to down when he has to upshift here because of the way the car revs out. See, that's exactly what you should be doing right there. It seems awkward sometimes, especially in 1 and 2, to have to downshift to third, to have to upshift, like, halfway on the exit of the corner. I would do this, like, either keep it in fourth and just let it roll. You see right there, just has to, like, it's kind of an awkward place to have to shift up. Actually, Sonny ran down a little bit. I thought it was a little bit by his teammate, but pulled away. He was down within, 2, 3 tenths, now back up to 5, 6 tenths. So further on back, a little battle. Probably ensuing here is the 20. Oh, you see the 9 in the wall pretty hard. Auto into the outside wall. Ooh, Nicholas into the back of the 77. Gonna move him up the track. Greg gonna do anything? I think it's too far back to do anything now. But these races in here, they have a memory of an elephant. That 77 is gonna put that in the back of his mind, keeping it in his back pocket. He's gonna remember that when he gets back to the 20 in another situation here. You're probably not gonna see the 77 as cordial around that 20 until he maybe gets his lick back. Saw both cars, a 20 and a 9 in the outside wall. Look at Will Austin moving his way back up to the field. Remember, got caught up in that wreck earlier. Now up inside the top 6, trying to run down that 77 now to get inside the top 5. Looking underneath. 77 will get the run off. He's pinching that really badly. Kind of forced Will's hand there. It's either you left and concede the spot or you wreck the 77. And you're gonna and right now with just under 50 to go, you're gonna give up the spot. But as we continue to take down these laps, you're not gonna see that out of these drivers. You're not gonna see them concede and give up the spot. You see, well, if you're gonna pinch me, I'm just gonna have to use you up. If you're gonna pinch me all the way down there, if I gotta get up, I gotta get up, right? You're gonna see that. Hey, Johnson putting pressure on the 9 now. Rosado trying to drive away, but the 20 not letting him get away. 20 overdrive the entry there. He got to the back end of the 9, but unfortunately, had to use the brake or just lift a little bit more. The 9 was able to pull away on exit. 3. Will Austin trying to make the move on the 77 again. 77 with a good launch out of the corner again, running that top defensive lane. Gonna be hard for this 3 to make this pass work. The only way I saw some drivers making moves is when they move up that higher side, they kind of pass them on the top. So now we're good to go to make it the rest of the way. If anybody would pit, they can make it the rest of the way on field. So we're in that pit window now. Just when do people decide to come down pit road? Well, continue to monitor this. We have a battle out just right outside the top 10. 24 trying to run down. Actually, the 24 trying to run away from the 42. Twenty-four just cannot get to that bottom side. Probably use up those front tires a little bit here. Remember, it's been 30 laps. Well, a little over 30 laps since these drivers have come down pit road. The tire wear starting to come into effect here. Battle starts to fade, but now the 42. That's the pressure from the 5. Steven Sear. I'm gonna talk about him that much this evening. Here comes Chris Bishop as well. They try to fight their way inside the top 10. You see that top 10 right there in that 24? So close. Further on up, Chris Otto's actually started to back up a little bit to the rest of the top 5 here. You see these 3 cars on Nerve Blanket. That's the 20, the 77, and the 3. 4th, 5th, and 6th. Right here on Nerve Blanket. These guys just cannot, like, feels like when they get to the back of each other, they just gotta stall out. Not, find a way around the other person. Looking up to your race leader once again, Mark Gonzalez. Starting to pull away a little bit. A second and a half on his teammate in Cody Meadows. It's interesting because a lot of people have said that like their year is really bad here at Phoenix, but like what happens when you're like Cody Meadows, who's a second and a half behind? Is in my opinion, I don't really feel dirty air when I'm a second and a half behind. Like once I get within maybe 6 to 8 tenths, I would say that's when you start to feel the dirty air just a little bit, and then obviously the closer you get, the worse it's gonna get. But like if I'm Cody, I don't really feel the adverse stuff from the dirty air. I would just be saving myself and trying to make a run back, but we do see some drivers start to come down pit road. Saw Frank making his last green flag pit stop. 23-year-old out of Brooklyn, New York. Look at the tire difference. I mean, that makes it very appealing for the rest of the field to come down and take that last pit stop. As we say that, here we go. Here comes Cody Meadows. Gonna take Chris Otto, Greg, and the 24 with him. The right side's up on the 12, and you'll see the left side go up. Oh, Chris Otto, maybe 2-tire stop for the 9 machine. The issue is, that's what, maybe a 3 or 4 second advantage. We still got to go 30 laps. These are the kind of the first big group of guys on the lead lap who come down Perry Road, led by Cody Meadows, technically led by Chris Otto. Just cross the start finish line now. Chris Johnson, then Cody Meadows. And when does Mark come in then? Right? Got about a 4-second gap. That gap is kind of maintained, right? To the 3 of Austin. And then 6.5 back to Gabe Ledger, right? 9.5 back to Justin Johnson, right? If I'm the 2, I kind of have to, like, if it's me, I have to react off of, like, what the guys behind me are doing. Because if you wait too long, they will, lap you. They will get around you just with the tire cycle, right? Now you see the guys behind the 2 pitting, right? Now you really have to pit, in my opinion. See what he decides to do. Stay on another lap. I'll put Penske 1, 2, Justin Johnson about 9 seconds back. Back there in P2. There's no way that 2 or the 22 could go all the way. But a caution would kill a lot of people's races here. Only 4, now 3 cars on the lead lap. Now granted, right? In the middle of a fuel cycle. Here comes the 2. So if the 2 didn't pit, right? Oh, the 2's gonna spin it down pit road. What a save. That's gonna lose him some time though. Comes the 22. So there's another, basically the Team Penske camp. You'll see Rhea Ferris back there in that 21. Now Wood Brothers aligned car. Now we'll go to Chris Otto. I'll actually pull up your track map here. We haven't used this all broadcast long here, if we could find it. Look at the car number here. The 22 still down pit road. The 9 coming out here. Look at that. You see the 22. They're still in the pit road here. You see that 2 will light up right there. He just came out of pits. He just got passed by the 3. Will Austin. He's got about a 9-second gap to make up. Chris Otto. Cars slow down on the apron there. Back to Mark Gonzalez. Be interesting to see what kind of lap times he runs here. He's only got what, 8 lap fresher tires, 7 lap fresher tires. I just don't think there's enough fall off for him to make up the time back. Chris Otto might have had to call the race here, take it 2 tires. Last lap for Otto was a 26.9. Mark Gonzalez ran a 26.8. So, oh, caution is out. Caution waves. We'll stack everybody back up here with 22 to go. That changes everything for this 2 machine. He's got the freshest tires. He's going to start probably P6 here. If not better. Because the 38 still has to pit. So, Van Mashik will come down pit side. He's going to have to pit. He last pitted on lap 130. Gone almost 50 laps on this stint. Got some drivers following him down pit side, though. Including the 2 of Mark. Justin Johnson comes down pit road as well. Very interesting. We'll see what they do here. Does the 2 have damage? I don't really see any damage to the 2 machine. Yeah, he does have damage. He's fixing some damage. I wonder what the 2 got damage from. Was he one of the cautions? I'm almost wanting to see if he got caught up in something here. The last thing we have that's recollection is yeah. That's the 4. John Hopley. I don't know what he got that damage from, but he's gonna start back there P18. He's got his work cut out for him now in that 2 machine. 19 to go here. He lights off on a pace car. Chris Otto's got a hungry pack of wolves now behind them. 2 tires. Was it the call? Can he hold on with 2 tires? Like Thomas Flynn also took 2. His last pit stop. Parker Strainer and the 42 also took 2, but that 20 on his outside took 4. Cody Meadows took 4. Mark Roberg took 4. Can this 9 hold on? They go back to back here and from at Phoenix here in the iSNF Cup Series. See what he can do here. Gonna go back into the O'Reilly Auto Parts restart zone. Chris Otto back to green. A good jump by the 9, but even a better jump by Cody Meadows. He's going to jump to the outside of this 9 machine, going into 1 and 2. Cody Meadows going to jump to the high side. And try to drag race him out of turn 2 here. Side by side for the race lead as we go back into 3 and 4. It's going to be the 9 and the 12. Side by side for the race lead. Cody knows that he's got a shot here. Is the 9's loose? The 9 is loose. Cody Meadows will take the lead. Chris Otto will drop back outside of the top 2 as he battles his teammate Thomas Flynn for that P2 position. Cody Meadows got to get up on that horse. He's got to go. He's got the fresh tires. He's the first car with 4 tires. Thomas Flynn, Chris Otto both took 2. He's got to go. I thought Cody got loose there. I almost screamed right there. And the 12 hold on here. 6 seed to go from Phoenix. Will Austin has looked quick all race. He's driving through the field. Battling for the P2 position with him in this 24 machine. Thomas Flynn, Will Austin for the P2 spot. We've hit the golden hour. Caution waves. They'll give the 3 the spot over the 24. And Will Austin has put himself back in the fight here late. Just like that, everybody will come and compact back together. So, no, once again, another caution. I don't have any recollection of what happened. Does not tell me. It just says yellow flag. It doesn't say anybody's crashed. So, unfortunately, we can't go back and see what happened. Mark Gonzalez back down pit road. And we still got some damage to fix. Frank the Angelus. Slow. Down here in the 1 and 2. Presume he's got to let some people by. He might have a broken car. You know, unsure what going on with Frank here. Back up to the front. Thomas Flynn in the top 3. And once again, you've seen the cream kind of rise to the top for the most part. Bushly, that too. I thought he was the guy to beat tonight. I don't know what happened. He got some damage. He's going to come out here in P14 with 12 to go. See if he can pull something out of his bag of tricks here to get himself back up to the front. The lights off on the pace car is going to be Cody Meadows, Will Austin, Thomas Flynn, and Craig Longslaughter. Oh, and the green flag back over to the 12 as we get ready to get back to the O'Reilly Auto Parts restart zone. Cody Meadows back to the green. Decent jump out of Cody in the 12 machine. You see side by side for the PT spot. Will Austin trying to hold on. Thomas Flynn trying to hold on, honestly. Trying to make up that time. Cody Meadows, caution out one more time. Like Fabricio, we finally got an actual recollection of what might have happened here. Fabricio. Hooked by the 41. Bob just barely gets to that left rear quarter. Turns that 88 around. I mean, honestly, this is what Cody wants to see here. I think that 3 is a little bit quicker than the 12. Will's been lights out all race, and he's been able to drive through the field here. Cody's kind of been gifted the track position and hasn't really been able to drive away from the rest of the field here. Will had to drive up there. I think Cody needs these cautions to kind of give him the jumps on these restarts to give him a little bit of that cushion to get him back into it. No one decides to stay out. I mean, goes down pit road. Like the only people that are in pit road now is that 88 who obviously was involved in that caution we just saw. You see the top 19, the first car is on the lead lap. We'll probably see the 88 go a lap down. Frank DeAngelis, the first car laps down, 2 laps down back there in 20th. Does Frank get the lucky dog here? Maybe he already got his laps back here, but I presume yeah, because I'm unsure. But pace car already off down pit road. Cody decides to pick the top this time, and you know why? Look who's behind him. At 22 of Justin Johnson. He's made his way back up through the field here, and guess who's a couple couple cars behind that 22. It's that 2 on that top side. You know Cody's going to give that countdown to his teammate. How can these 2 Penske teammates work together, try to get this win? And wow, look at that jump by the 2 Penske teammates as we're back green here. 7 to go from Phoenix. Justin Johnson is going to be Cody Meadows, but fighting for this lead right now. Five to go now, 6 to go. The issue is Justin, he's a teammate, right? How hard do you push this 12? How hard do you race this 12? If you're going to get around, you got to get around now, because you see the 3, he's lurking. His caution will wave once again. Who's it going to give the lead to? I think he'll give it to the 12 of Meadows. He holds on one more time. Like Jeff Weimer involved in this last caution. Oh, man. Hard to see from that angle. We'll go back and look at our blimp cam. Up here in the sky. It looks like a race to do right there. It looks like the 5 of Sear gets up into the left front of the 60. And the way these next gens work is anytime you like really make contact with any of the front tires, it really upsets the car. You know, unfortunately, the 60 slow trying to catch it. The 41 has nowhere to go. Bob Wyckoff into the right rear of the 60 is going to hook him up the track, and around that 60 will go here. We'll see if that 88 makes contact. No, looks like he gets it woed up enough and not really make any unifying damage. I think the other person who gets the worst out of it is the 38 of Van Maastricht there. It's in the back end of the 88. It looks like it gave him a little dimple on the front end of that car. So I believe that caution came out on laps with 6 to go, which means we should be getting a natural green, white, checkered. So we do have 3 overtimes in the bank if we need them, right? And for people at home who don't understand what overtime means and how that works, so right now we'll get a natural green, white, checkered, which means we'll be going green with 2 to go, right? And this is how these green, white, checkers will work too. So we'll be going back to green with 2 to go. If we get a caution before we get to the white flag, we will re-rack them. And we get 3 extra attempts to try to restack and re-rack these guys. And once again, if we get a caution before we get to the white flag, we will call the caution, we'll re-rack these drivers, and we'll try again. But if we get through all 3 green, white, checkers, and the caution comes out one more time, whoever's in the lead at that given moment will be declared our winner. If we get back to the white flag, then it's all man for themselves. If the 2 leaders wreck each other, P7 can come around and win the race. So we're not going to throw the caution if we get to the white flag here. It's going to be a little bit of an interesting situation now, because now we have 2 teammates lined up on the front row. Cody Meadows decides to pick the top lane in that 12 Dent Wizard machine, and you'll see the 22 Pennzoil Dark Horse Mustang on the bottom. That's Justin Johnson. I don't think Cody's going to be giving out any 3-2-1s anymore, because those 2 are racing for the win, right? We'll get ready to get back inside the restart zone. We're back green here from Phoenix. A good jump by the 77, honestly, but also a good jump by the 22. 22 will cut that dog leg. Now Cody's going to go up here and run this top side, try to be a little bit defensive here. Going out on 1 and 2 for the penultimate time. Now you see the 77 and the 22 doing for that P2 position. Cody Meadows out at 3 and 4. He's going to get the white flag here from Phoenix. Cody Meadows, 1 to go here from Phoenix in week 8 here for the iSNF Cup Series. They're 1 and 2, pretty clean for that 12 machine. As those 2 in the back battle it out for the P2 position. Justin Johnson loose. He's going to wreck the field in the back. Coming around to take the checkered flag. Go ahead and give it to him. Cody Meadows wins his first race here in Season 8. Season 8, Week 8. My apologies. Cody Meadows finally gets it done in this 12 car, and this is the first time this 12 car has won in a couple seasons, so congratulations to Cody. He finally gets one done here, and I believe this is season 11, so I don't know why I'm having such a brain fart with that. Season 11, yes, season 11, week 8 here. Congratulations to Cody and this whole Penske team, this whole 12 team. A tough break for the 22. He's going to finish P18. That's just hard racing at the end there. Great Ferris. Team owner coming and burning it down with their teammate. Here comes Justin Johnson. Here comes Celebrate as well. Congratulations to Cody. The whole Penske organization. Rhea more excited than I think the 12 is. I mean, this is her car. This is Rhea's car. And unfortunately, I couldn't take it to victory lane when I was given it the opportunities to. I'm so happy for this whole 12 team. So happy for Rhea. This is her car. This is her driver. And so happy to see this car park the victory lane. And super happy to see Cody do it. Right? Really good friend of the channel. And congratulations. We'll see if Cody can find victory lane here. Go park that thing up in victory lane. Wrong place, Cody. In the infield. I think Rhea's taking him there. What a win for this Penske organization. Yeah, there it is. Go drive that thing up in the victory lane. Congratulations, Cody. And just like that, he's gonna park that thing up in victory lane. He's gonna do a little mini burnout there. Congratulations. We're gonna go ahead and take a quick commercial break. We'll get ready to start your post race show. We'll talk to your top 3 finishers tonight. Look at that, Mark Gonzalez up there with P3. How did he get that? We'll have to talk about that once we come back. But we got to take a quick commercial break. Let our partners over at iRacing talk to you guys, and we're ready to start our post race show. When we come back from a little break.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
We welcome you back to the post race show here for the iSNF Cup Series Week 8 here in Phoenix. We just saw Cody Meadows, first win of the season. Let's go ahead and talk up to the driver of the number 12 machine once we get our audio routed back. Go ahead and talk to the 12 machine. Hey, Cody, it's Christian up here in the HPTV booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well,
Oh man.
definitely a popular win, I feel like, here up in the Cup Series. But congratulations. Your first win of the season here. Not only that, your first oval win here in the Cup Series. Just walk us through the emotions you're going through right now.
Dude, after such a freaking rough start, I made the joke with Justin and Mark and Rhea just right now. My thought process is just, hello boys, I'm back. Oh my god. Just running as hard as I could. I knew I had a fast car. That speed penalty in pit road just, oh god, that just annoyed the I was so frustrated because I knew I had a car to win, but it's just after everything, finally putting the 12 car in victory lane, just a lot of emotions running through my head right now.
Well, I mean, I definitely get it, right? I mean, I tried to pilot this 12 car to a victory a couple times, can never do it, and you know, that's something I want to come back someday and try to do is finally get that win here in the iSNF Cup Series. Obviously, you've done it on the road courses a couple times, but your first oval win here in iSNF. I mean, what's the feeling? Just obviously getting it done here on the track that's not turning right.
Well, my first win was actually New Hampshire.
Oh, was
Second
that?
win
Yes,
was the
yes,
Roval.
yes, that's right, actually.
And then, but finally getting it done. Holy shit. Um, it's just I couldn't. I have such good teammates. I have such good friends, and I guess you could say fans too. I see the chat, but like literally, that last 10 laps, man, it was rough being in this seat because I was picturing like all the things that could happen wrong because I mean I've been in this scenario multiple occasions and with older tires and everything else. I mean, there was so much that could have went wrong that didn't, thankfully. I mean, I had a lot of tough competition, but finally, I keep going back to it. Costing that, seeing that checkered flag, man, it's a different feeling.
I definitely agree. Obviously, getting your first win of the season. Obviously, wins not mean a whole lot with the new chase, but walking us through, right? Those last couple restarts there, obviously, I set up in the booth. I felt like those cautions is what you needed to keep the lead here, and you got him. What was the mindset? Obviously, you had your teammates working up with you. You had Justin, up there with you at the end there. Unfortunately, he got loose out of two there on the on the white flag. What was going through your head through those restarts and preparing yourself to get the best launch to give yourself the best advantage here on these starts?
Um, well, really, throughout the last few restarts, I was literally conversing with all my teammates, going like, "What do I need to do? What should I do here? I mean, go here, go there." And then I got Mark in my ear going, "Don't be predictable." I got Justin saying, "Just have confidence in yourself. You'll be fine." I got Rhea going, "As long as a Penske car finishes on the in first place, I'm fine." It was just so chaotic, but the last restart was, I got your back. It's gonna just hit your marks, and you should be fine, because there was so much. And then off the launch, halfway through the last lap, Justin goes, "You got it. Just keep it in it. You're good. You're good. You're good." And that's when I assume he got loose going down the backstretch, and I felt bad, because I wanted all of us Penske Fords to be up there, but just I couldn't say I have any, like, I got the greatest teammates in my opinion.
I mean, I definitely agree that those Team Penske guys that we've seen time and time again that they do the best. I feel like working with each other and stuff like that. I've never seen a team that says you go get it, right? And we've seen every other team that like will fight for the win, but especially in these circumstances, right? We've seen so many times where a Penske car will give up a win just to get someone else up there, right? And super cool to see that out of the whole Penske camp this week. All you guys were quick, all race long. Every one of you guys outside of Rhea led laps, and that's definitely something to talk about as well.
Yeah, man, it's just, I couldn't be more thankful for everything. I mean, getting in with the Penske team set. I mean, I was originally in the Woods Brothers, which is still associated in some way, and it's just being a part of the Ford group. I mean, we all put each other in this. I mean, we're gunning for that championship spot, and I think we have a chance of possibly getting there.
No, I definitely agree. Good run last week, and obviously coming home here, on top of the board here definitely helps get you towards that spot. So once again, Cody, congratulations on your first win of the season here from Phoenix. Before I let you go, anybody you want to thank for this one tonight?
Um, Big thank you to you yourself for taking the time out of your day to broadcasting this. Also for being a great friend, a great teammate in the past. Um, I owe you a lot. I thank Rhea and all my Penske teammates. You guys are amazing for helping me get this far and keeping my head level. Um, Folks and family for helping me get to this far into iRacing to be able to do this. Um, and nonetheless, everyone in the chat, you guys are the best of friends, fans. Yeah, I mean, Vela, Nikki, Stitch, Puff, Bean, Jordan. I saw Captain, Oni. If you're hearing this, man, I couldn't thank you guys enough. I mean, y'all deal with my bullshit nearly every day. Um, y'all are an amazing group of friends. I couldn't be happier every day I wake up to be hanging out with you guys playing, whether it's DVD or anything else. But to take the time out of y'all's day and watch me do what I love and enjoy, I couldn't be happier. But big thank you to High Velocity again. You're awesome, Christian. Really appreciate it, bud. And everyone in iSNF, you guys are an amazing group of competitors. I look forward to racing with y'all every day of the week. So more or less, I'll see y'all next week.
Well, I appreciate the kind words up here in the booth, and we're gonna drag you down there once again. Congratulations, Cody. Go celebrate, man. You earned it, and hopefully we can talk to you some more up here in the booth.
10-4, bud.
Congratulations to Cody. Very emotional, Cody Meadows, after he gets his win tonight here from Phoenix. We'll go ahead and talk to number 77, Greg Lartenslaughter. Somehow makes his way up inside the P2 after that whole carnage on that last lap. Go ahead and talk to the 77. Finishes P2. Hey, Craig, it's Christian up here in the HVTV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I do.
Well, I think this is the first podium of the season for you and the 77 team. Obviously not the start of the season you guys wanted. Obviously, we know you're quick and can show speed, but luckily you come home with a P2 finish tonight at Phoenix. You know, you showed really good pace all race long. Walk us through what got you up here into the P2 spot.
I had a strong car. I ran this track in my other league, which is racing against a bunch of like 4, 5, and 6K guys. So I had speed against them. I knew I'd have speed tonight. And then I just made, I think, basically played a fuel saving game. The first 2 stages, won stage 1 on fuel saving, and was able to hold on to a second for stage 2. And then, I just kind of went back a little bit backwards on that second stage at one point, but made a savvy pit strategy call to come down and take 2. We were wearing so little on the left sides that I figured that might help me rotate a little better. I think it did. I just didn't get through the field fast enough. If I'd really been more aggressive, I think at the start of the last 15 or 20 laps could have got up there. But second place is, I think, still pretty good.
I definitely agree. It's, with the new playoff format, no winning you're in anymore. It's just getting the best finish you can is going to get you the most points, really. So, but, talking about those last couple of restarts, right? I mean, we kept wrecking, and obviously we saw the 22 of Justin Johnson get loose out of 4 and kind of collect a lot of cars there. What was your kind of field of view there going into turn 3 and 4 for the final time?
So I was able to get like above him, I think. I forget what position or how I got there, but my car was rotating well. So I mean, it was going to be a real challenge for him to fight back, and I think he just maybe overcooked it a little bit trying to get a drive out of that corner. But my car was great at that point. If I just had like another lap or 2, I might have had something for the 12. But it looks like he just maybe overdrove it or whatever. But yeah, I was just rotating well on the top.
Yeah, and talk to me about kind of the different lines here. A lot of people don't realize how kind of dynamic Phoenix is. You can kind of run wherever you want, really on any point of the track here. And we definitely saw drivers like you could kind of run the top where they needed to, run the bottom where they needed to. Walk us through kind of that dynamics that the track has.
I think 3 and 4 is definitely a bottom feeding corner, but 1 and 2, you got 3 or 4 lanes there. I think the strongest lane was to, cut it close to the line and then diamond that corner. And then I really felt like a low exit and getting your left sides as low as possible, get some rotation in the rears was probably the strongest, especially for tire saving. But I mean, you could almost run up by the wall in that corner too to get a better run out. Very difficult corner to pass on. So you can really run all over 1 and 2, and then obviously you got the dog leg is kind of like a corner in itself, and that provides a lot of strategy there. And then 1 and 2, you can even put it on the apron. I had to do a couple times at the end of the race.
Definitely very interesting stuff that you could do. I mean, I love Phoenix, and it's so much different than any track really come to on the schedule. I mean, it drives like a mile and a half. It drives like a short track in the same aspect of how you have to hit your marks and everything.
Yeah, I definitely
else.
agree.
And it's always exciting to call races here. But Craig, coming home P2. Obviously, you said would have loved the race for the win there, but okay with the P2 finish considering the circumstances. So congratulations on that. Before we let you go, anybody you want to thank tonight for this podium spot from Phoenix?
Really just thank Rhea for putting this on. Have a lot of fun in this league, and then thank my teammate Chris for showing up and racing with me and keeping me sane, and yeah, just everybody else who shows up. I mean, we get a lot of like good turnout for this league, so I think that makes it fun. Um, but yeah, just everybody is part of this league.
Definitely agree. A lot of fun to watch. I would say what 20 plus at least every week coming out here and putting on a good show. But once again, Greg, congratulations on your P2 finish. Hopefully, we can continue to talk to you up here inside this podium position as we close into the regular season.
All right, thanks.
Greg Slaughter comes in. Excuse me. P3. It's time to talk to the last driver for tonight's. Somehow, Mark Gonzalez. I mean, he was out of it. Like, I think he started P18. Somehow comes home P3. Let's talk to the driver, Fort Worth. Hey, Mark, it's Christian up here in HVTV booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Well, somehow, I went and looked up at the timing board. I was like, Mark Gonzalez got a podium here. I saw you had some damage. You had to get it fixed through later in the race, and started outside the top 15. Walk us through your race. Walk us through what got you up here inside the podium.
Yeah, that stage one where I was not banking. I was banking on another caution to come out, and I couldn't make it to the lap 60, and I had to come in for fuel. But that stage two, I think one caution came out. The first caution came out, so I came down and pitted to get extra fuel, and then a couple more cautions happened. So I was saving fuel, and during that run, I was also saving fuel, so that way I could get the second stage win, which I got there. That third stage, I was leading a lot there, and I had some lap car trouble right there, and I thought my day was done coming into the pits and all that because I had 50 seconds of damage after that. But luckily, another caution came out, and I came down, got 4 tires, and ran back up to the field to get a podium. At that point, I was just trying to get whatever I could get. I know I probably wasn't going to win the race, at least, and so I'm just trying to get the most points out of this points day.
I definitely agree, and I mean those 4 tires definitely helped get you through the field here. But you talked about fuel saving. Walk us through what the kind of ordeal is with fuel saving. Is it, obviously, and I talked with Craig about this before we pulled you in. Phoenix is very unique track on the schedule. Is it a little bit easier to save than maybe something like at a mile and a half or a short track?
Yeah, I think it's definitely easier to save just because the low speeds, and you can lift a lot and make it back up on exit. So I was lifting a lot in the corner and still driving it kind of deep and into the braking zone, but you could still get a lot of run off the corner, and that's really what makes or breaks your time here at Phoenix.
I definitely agree, and then it's like I once again said with Craig, it's just such a unique track, and you can kind of do whatever you want with it, right? And whatever you need to do
Yeah,
that to put yourself in a good
you
spot.
can really roll the throttle and wait on that braking point, and so you're able to save a lot of fuel and also just the shifting aspect too. Whenever you don't shift, you're saving fuel, staying in either fourth or fifth gear, depending on what scenario you're in. So you're just using less fuel there.
Well, obviously did a good job getting yourself to that stage 2 win, saving fuel. Obviously, like you said, uh, didn't get the caution you needed in stage 1, but good stage points in stage 2, and obviously coming home P3. Looking at the points, obviously you're somewhat up there in the picture. Looking forward, obviously we know that everybody wants to get consistent finishes, but moving on further into that calendar, what's kind of the plan for you and this whole 2 team?
Just keep it consistent. It's not about wins anymore. So I'm not too focused on wins. As long as I get the top 3, top 5, I mean, that's still a good day for this team. So I'm not too worried about um, winning in scenarios and all that. So that's what I'm kind of thinking. And I won't be here next week because I'm going to the Arlington IndyCar race. So I'll have to take a provisional there. But hopefully my average is a lot higher so I can get a lot of points for that week still.
I definitely agree, and I think it should be. Obviously, you've ran up front, you've gotten a win already, so should be decently high, so you can go out there and have a good fun there. But once again, congratulations on another podium finish, Mark. Before I let you go, anybody you want to shout out, thank, or anything for tonight's finish?
Yeah, I want to thank Ria for putting on the league. I know she goes through a lot and has to deal with a lot of things behind the scenes. I want to thank you for putting on the broadcast. I know you take away from time from family and all that, so I know how much you sacrifice for this league as well. And then I want to thank my teammates. They get me through a lot of these races and calm me down and all that stuff. So I just want to thank them.
We definitely appreciate the kind words up here in the booth. But congratulations to you, Mark, on this podium finish. Enjoy, Arlington next week, and hopefully we can talk to you sooner or later up here in the booth once again.
Yes, sir. Have a good weekend.
Too. Mark Gonzalez will come home P3, and yeah, I mean that's really cool. He's going to the IndyCar race. It's really cool that I I know it sounds corny, but we have the opportunities to like go to these races and stuff like that, and can have fun and enjoy the racing that we love here. Um, it's really cool to see that. But let's go ahead and take a look at your unofficial race results for tonight's race. You ready to get that set up? Let's go ahead and pull it up here. Obviously, we talked through top three: Cody Meadows, Craig Lautenschlager, Mark Gonzalez. Top three. Penske 1-3. Really good run for them tonight. You'll see Will Austin back there in P4 just couldn't get it done. Thomas Flynn back there in fifth. Nicholas Johnson in sixth. Peter Strandrent. Sorry, I'm having trouble with that. Back there in P7. Steven Sear P8. Joey Maines back there in P9. Jeff Weimer P10. Fabricio Lamana back there in P11. Good run for him in that 88 team. Mark Roberg back there in P12. John Hopley P13. Chris Van Maastricht P14. Good run for him. Gabe Ledger back there P15. Chris Otto P16 was running up front. Unfortunately, just didn't have the position he needed to. Chris Bishop P17, and obviously we saw Justin Johnson was up there in the top two. On the white flag, unfortunately got loose and really just took away what could have been a good finish for him in that whole 22 team. We see that that top 18 there. We'll go ahead and continue to scroll through the field here. See back there. And P19 will be Bob Wyckoff in that 41 machine, followed by Frank DeAngelis one lap down. Blake Hollett back there in P21. Rhea Ferris P22, 2 laps down. Don Blazer P23, Terrence Preston P24, Charles Robertson, not the race he wanted, out early back there in P25. Jason Steptoe 26th. David Anderson will get P27. Larry Freeman will be 28th. Joey Berge P29. James Bowles, Brian Treadwell, and Rodney Roberts round out your 32 car field. And yeah, I mean, an exciting race. Obviously, we did have quite a few cautions to start the race, and it's something we're kind of used to seeing here in iSNF, unfortunately. But um, the end of the race really got exciting, and I'm really happy that we got those long green flag runs throughout the race here. It really did shake up that stuff, like seeing the fuel strategy for stage 1 and stage 2 to see who was saving, who wasn't, who was going to just bank on the caution, and who wasn't, and who was actually saving the fuel. It was really cool to see. But yeah, I appreciate everybody coming out and watching the broadcast. I love to see the Cody Meadows fans up here. I did see a message. How much do we charge for a broadcast by Global Racing Sports Network? We don't really have a set price. We really just talk to the leagues and see what's in their budget, and what can they afford, and what do they want from us, right? Because I hate to be like I hate for us to be like a hard set. We charge this amount of money, and if the league can't afford us, then we don't get the opportunity to broadcast at all, right? To me, it just doesn't seem right. So what we usually do is when a league reaches out to us, we will sit down with either the league owner or some admins or whoever's in charge of communicating to me. And we'll just sit down and be like, okay, if you can only afford this much, we could put this amount of work into the broadcast, and do what we can, right? Because obviously, if someone's going to pay us a lot more, then they deserve better quality, right? Versus someone who just can't afford the pay for a top tier broadcast. We're going to give them the best that we can. But we think, everybody deserves to be seen. Every broadcast, every league deserves to be seen, because there's so many people in the background that work their tail off to make sure, everything, runs around and make sure everything looks good, right? And we want to give every league an opportunity to be seen, right? Obviously, I feel like the only kind of requirement we have is we need like a decent field because I don't want to come in and call a 5-10 car race. It just really makes it not fun for the people up in the booth, and it makes it really difficult for us to want to have you guys come back and continue to watch the broadcast. If the races aren't entertaining, why would you guys want to come back and watch the broadcast? So, yeah, good question, and we appreciate all that. But once again, we appreciate everybody coming out watching the broadcast. Like I said, I'd love to see those Cody Meadow fans up and cheering on his drive on Cody to the win. Obviously, a good friend of the channel, and congratulations to him for his first win of season 11 here at Phoenix. But once again, if you guys wouldn't mind, I'd really appreciate it if you guys would drop a thumbs up on the broadcast, share the stream with friends and family so you can see and catch up on what's going on here on High Velocity TV. If you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button over on the High Velocity TV YouTube page, I'd really appreciate it as well. There's a lot of people, excluding me, right, who work their tail off to make sure everything runs really well here on the network, making graphics, whether it's Rio sending me the stuff for this league. There's a lot of people who work really hard in the background that you'll never see on the network that really work their tail off to make sure things look and are looking good and working right. So we'd appreciate it if you guys would drop a subscription on the YouTube page. But if you guys are looking for a league, if you guys are looking for us to broadcast your league, whether it doesn't even have to be a league, it could be like some fun hosted races, whether it's a charity race or a promotion race. If you guys are looking for us to, obviously broadcast your leagues, or, we've been in contact for some like endurance style races, some IMSA content and stuff like that. If you guys are looking for any type of broadcasting, make sure to email us at hvtvbroadcasting@aol.com. Also, if you're just looking to join the HVTV family, whether it's up here in the booth, whether it's running the cameras up here for the production side, whether you're up and coming graphic designer and want a place to really start to grow your work, especially if you want to work in the industry in the future, right? We try to give these people a place to kind of learn their place and to practice what they want to learn, and then just give them a spot to grow and develop into whether it is a producer, commentator, graphic designer for a network, whatever they want to be. We want to give a place for those people to you know develop and learn and figure out what they want to do for future endeavors. So if you guys are looking to be a part of the HVTV team, also make sure to email us at hvtvbroadcasting@aol.com. Or if there's a way that you could get a hold of by Discord, you can DM me at any time, and I'll try to reach out when I can and try to get you guys set up as well. But we appreciate everybody coming out and watching the broadcast tonight. We'll be back on Thursday for the Prestige Cup Series as they continue their race, their season. Friday we'll be back for the AWC Pro Series, and we'll be right back here next week for the iSNF Cup Series here for Week 9. So once again, we appreciate all the support, guys. I hope everybody has a great rest of your Saturday. Enjoy the racing. Enjoy the racing weekend. We got a lot going on. Obviously, F1's kicking off. We have the Australian Supercars coming back. Obviously, we have IndyCar and NASCAR this weekend. So enjoy the racing. We hope to see you soon. Hope everybody has a great rest of the night. We will talk to you soon.